Hi, welcome to another longer Qigong practice. Today we're going to aim for about half an hour. So we'll start standing up today with the feet about shoulder width apart. Just see if you can kind of press the soles of the feet into the ground, spreading the toes a little bit, feeling that connection. We're going to just drop the tailbone, just sinking it down towards the earth and just do a little bit of a shake. So almost coming from the ground up, reverberating up through the legs. Really release the hips and the buttocks, let them wobble and kind of vibrate around the bone. And then just getting the top half involved as well with a little bit of a shake of the arms. Taking a nice deep breath in. And just trying to shake any kind of tension and stiffness out of the body. Focusing the breath down in the lower part. So we're kind of breathing into the abdomen. And then just gradually letting the shoulders and the arms get involved as well. Shaking the thighs. Letting it all wobble and vibrate. And then we'll just slow the shaking down. Start bouncing on the lower half, so a knee bend, just a kind of light springy knee bend, allowing the top half to bounce as well, but keeping it very relaxed, not carrying any tension in the shoulders. And allow your breath to move down in the body. So focusing on where you're breathing into at the moment, while this little gentle shock kind of works its way through the skeletal system, stimulating the bone marrow. See if you can breathe into the belly. And then let's exhale through the mouth. So as we breathe in, we're taking fresh chi into the body. And as we exhale, we're releasing stagnant, stale energy. One more nice deep breath. And exhale. And then if you are able to lift your heels off the ground and just drop them, so we just do one at a time. And you can feel that shock kind of going up the back of the legs, through the calves and thighs. So it's just a little bit more of an impact coming up through the soles of the feet. Again, making sure that the top half is nice and relaxed and fluid. And eventually your calves will start to tire a little bit of this. So when they get tired, just go back to bouncing with a flat foot on the ground. Trying to release the hips as well, so that those shock waves coming up from the ground are coming up through, as much as possible, a nice kind of relaxed musculature all the way up the legs into the lower back. Okay, and then slow that down. We're going to stick with the bouncing on the lower half, so we've got this kind of light springiness going on the lower half, and then with the top half we're just going to draw the hands up. So from the side it kind of looks slightly soft at the wrists. And then we come back down, so up and down. And there's a little kind of double bounce going on. So bounce, 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 bounce. And the hands come a little way behind, but not too much. And we just keep on, keeping the breath nice and steady. Trying where possible to breathe into the lower part of the body. And keeping the bouncing nice and light and springy. So this helps us do a gradual opening of the body, a gradual warming, gradual stretching. Gently kind of prizing open any stiffness in the fascia, working its way through the connective tissue, particularly if we're using the breath to bring that fresh energy in. And keeping the arms quite soft. Soft in shape, but with a bit of momentum as we push up. There's a definite push as we come up. And just taking care not to raise the shoulders or stiffen them too much. You can slow this down if you like, or you can speed it up. It's entirely up to you. The idea is just to gradually kind of warm up the body. And then let's slow that down. So we don't come out of it too suddenly. We're just going to gradually soften the movement. Slow down the bounce. And then let the hands just kind of hang in the front. We're going to take the feet out a little bit wider and do our twisting, this time with an open hand. So we're hitting the back behind the navel with the back of our palm. And the other hand, the front hand, is coming up and just slapping the shoulder. Now, as well as when we do that, we can just lift the opposite heel. So we're allowing ourselves to turn a little bit. Coming down with the knee bend and then slapping the other shoulder. So this doesn't have to be fast. And lifting the heel helps us just kind of get a bit of momentum and ease more fully into that side twist. Find your own breath pattern for this one. So you might want to inhale for 2 or 4 and then exhale for the same. Just allowing the hand to really warm up and activate those shoulders, that impact clearing away any stagnation and stiffness. Gradually returning to front and center. And then let's bring the arms back down to the center. We'll warm up the feet next. So with this one, keeping the feet about shoulder width apart, we're just going to rise up. Now, if you can come up to onto the balls of your feet without any support, great. If not, just grab something to hold on to. And we're just going to come up and down, trying to pause at the top just to stretch the foot out and then just gradually rolling back down. Rising up, stretching out the foot and coming back down. Trying to make it a low, slow stretch, but coming up as high as possible. We'll do one more of these. Just building strength in the toes. And then rolling, or stretching the foot out rather in a different way. So rolling onto the inside edge. So a little bit knock-kneed here. And then rolling onto the outside. So with the knees pressing out. Rolling onto the inside. And the outside. And keep going, rolling one way. And the other. Rolling the foot in and out. And then let's come back to center. Place the feet together, hands over the knees. As we kind of bend down, just bend as much as you can here. So a bit more of a squat, and see if you can angle your tailbone under, so you're curling it under, feeling that stretch in the lower back. And then circle one way. Creating as big a circle as you can. And while we're curled over here, try breathing into the back. Just furnishing a different part of the lung with fresh breath. And change direction. Spiraling the knees out. Gradually roll up to standing, so we can take the legs apart again. Now for the hips, so we can place the hands resting on the hips or on the small of the back as well, if you prefer. Sometimes that can help kind of just stretch out the lower back, particularly as we're working our way around to the front. But we're creating circles, spiraling the hips around. And keep your breathing nice and steady. So this is quite the slow one. It's a nice opportunity to just check in with the belly breath. Nice, steady inhalations, feeling the belly gently pushing outwards slightly as you inhale and then pulling in as you exhale. And then rotate the other way. Just pushing the hips out. One last circuit. And we'll come back to the centre. So just straightening the body up. We'll do some shoulder lifts. Inhale, drawing the shoulders all the way up to the ears. Just pulling them up as far as you can. And then exhale through the mouth. Dropping them down. Inhale, drawing them up. So deliberately creating that tension. And then exhale and release. Letting the tension drop away. Inhale, let's do one more of these. And exhale. Bring the arms up over the head. So just stretching the fingertips up above you. Really kind of stretching out the armpit area, and we're just going to inhale here and then exhale and bend over, so keeping the body fairly straight here, not bending forward or back. Inhaling as you come up, stretching that a little bit higher, and then exhaling over to the side. Inhaling up, creating that space, exhaling down and over. Inhaling up, exhale down, inhaling, exhale, and inhale up to centre. We'll just do one more. Inhaling, stretch, and exhale, float the hands down the centre of the body, dropping the shoulders. Sinking the knees, just sinking the waist a little bit down to the earth. Okay, so a little bit of a focus today on the metal element. So we're still in autumn and we want to kind of really capitalise on that seasonal energy of releasing and letting go, particularly focused on the lungs. And so we'll work a little bit more on the metal element before we head into winter. So come into a kind of ballet first position with the heels together, and the knees are just kind of pressing out, as are the toes. Now with this one we're going to create the chi look associated with the crane from our animal play series. So all the fingertips are pressed together so that we've got a little bit our crane's beaks going on. And there's two parts to this. So we'll just get the kind of arm movement to start with. This is really kind of working on the breath. All the fingertips are pressed together and we inhale the arms, so keeping the shoulders drop down the body. So our arms are elegant crane's wings here, and the backs of the hands are coming up to meet each other at the wrist. And then we exhale and we drop the chi lock from the hands and float the hands down, just crossing them slightly. Inhale, hand in the chi lock again, so drawing those fingers together, and they meet just above the crown point. And then exhale, so it's a bit Swan Lake. Now the other part of this is even more Swan Lake. So if balance is something that you are working on, you might want to do this next to a wall, or have a chair or something you can hold on to, because we're going to do a little bit of a plie in a minute. As you inhale and bring the hands up though, see if you can focus on really expanding the rib cage, because this lovely wing movement is mechanically opening and freeing up a lot of space in the lungs, enabling us to get a really decent lung full of fresh energy into the body. So let's just do one more with the legs like this, and then we're going to take it up a notch with a bit of a plie. So you don't have to come down far. It's better not to come down that far, but keep the back straight. So if you only come down to here, that's absolutely fine. Just work on strengthening the legs, strengthening the back, and improving the balance. And like I say, if you want to kind of do it with one hand holding on to something, and just do it one-handed, so you're kind of doing that, that's fine as well. If you can come down a bit further, great, but just try and keep the back straight so that you're not, the temptation is to kind of lean forward or lean back in the effort to keep the body straight. So just go slowly. And we'll just do a few of these. Remember, lovely big breath in as your wings spread upwards. And here we're really, with the animal play exercises, we're trying to embody the spirit of the animal as well. So with the crane and the metal element we want to kind of have that sense of elegance, clarity, sharpness. We've kind of let go and released a lot of the kind of detritus that we don't need anymore, and we're left with just the sort of cleansed, pure, essential stuff that we need. There's also this sense of discernment really as well. Inhale, keeping the back straight. Do one more and rise up again, releasing the wings. And then we'll take the feet out so that they're about shoulder width apart. If you like, give the hands a bit of a shake, give the whole body a little bit of a shake. We're going to just focus again on the metal element with another wing-based exercise. So this is great. Rock spreads its wings. So for this one, just bring the palms so that they're parallel, coming up to about lung height. Out to the side, keeping the knees quite soft. Tailbone is dropped down, chin is slightly tucked. So for this, this is a held posture. So we're standing here like this. The elbows they're slightly bent rather than soft. You'll see why I make that distinction in a minute. And the idea is that this is the position, but we want to really extend the wings out just by a few millimeters by keeping all the fingers together and really stretching out the fingers. So it's as if your fingers are almost trying to pull away from the hand. So that's where the tension is, or the effort is. It's in the hands and the fingers. They're all sort of glued together. And the elbows your arms aren't straight, but that tension in the hand is kind of activating a lot of meridian activity all the way up the arms. Now this is a metal element exercise from Golden Bell, but we're also activating the heart channel here, and what we're going to do is just pull the little finger down a little bit, extending it down towards the floor, still sort of wedged together with the other fingers, but it's just directing that energy downwards, enabling us to really explore that heart-lung connection. And with the arms outstretched, just standing here breathing, feeling this opening in the chest around the heart, this activation of heart meridian and the lung meridian, because as the little finger angles downwards, we're also stretching the thumb downwards. And this is a really nice one. If you can keep your breathing steady, it's a great one for just flushing out those channels, really clarifying for the respiratory system. A lot of us have been negotiating coughs and colds throughout this season. So anything that we can do to speed up just processing of those seasonal bugs and seasonal clearing of stagnant energy. Just keep on angling the fingers really stretching away, starting to just slightly straighten out the arms. So it's quite a dynamic position. And just take some nice relaxed breaths into the belly, just hold it for a little while longer. We'll do one more nice deep breath in. And exhale, release. So just relax the fingers. They almost come back in towards the palm of the hand. And then we'll just slowly bring the arms down. Releasing our giant wingspan. That relief of bringing the arms down. And again, give the fingers a little bit of a shake if they need it after that. And then just one more arm type sequence today. That would be the last, that's kind of the last one. We're going to do an exercise which is often called spinning mandarins. I've called it flying saucers in the past. What else is it called? Teacups. And from the Wuji Hundun series, it's actually called Chuo, or snake arms. And it's a much slower affair. So just to refresh your memory, it's one where we pull the hands in, so they're just by the ribs, the palms are facing up. The idea is you can balance something in your hand, so you can have a pebble or a china teacup if you're feeling brave, or a satsuma or something like that, something that will weigh the hand down. The idea is to keep the hands flat and facing up throughout, and we take one out to the front. So we're doing this with our feet a bit closer together. Quite often this is a very kind of like dynamic, low bend in the knee one, but for this one we're just doing it a little bit slower. So we're bringing the hand out to the front, spins around, and then it comes behind the body, keeping the palm facing up. And we just pause it with the palm facing up, above the crown point, Bai Hui, as if you were receiving this lovely heavenly energy. And then keeping the palm facing up, so it's a really nice rotation of the shoulder. We just bring it down, and then it kind of parks itself back in where it was before. The other one goes out, coming on the other side of the body. So we'll get a more fluid movement going on. So it's a bit slower. And it allows us to really focus on that rotation of the shoulder joint, but also the hand position. If you haven't got anything in your hands, you can really just zone in on that, keeping the fingers together, and that kind of pulling out of the fingers like we did in Great Rook spreads its wings. So there's a dynamic tension created by the fingers here. And of course we've got several meridians in the arm, but the main focus for this is actually the pericardium. So this can be a great one for clearing out heat and stagnation. Just creating these loops with the arms. Now we can try get into a bit more of a rhythm. And if you want to do both arms simultaneously, you wait till one is about to come down and then you start the other. So that in the end, you're kind of doing a nice synchronized figure of 8, an up and down figure of 8 on either side of the body. It can take a little while to synchronize both arms. So by all means carry on just doing one at a time until you feel like you're really kind of happy with the movement and it's in your muscle memory. And there's no particular breath pattern here. Just remember to keep breathing. So as you get more into the rhythm, you'll just develop your own. And as you go from side to side, this gentle twist in the body, opening up of the side of the body, so also activating that gallbladder channel. And this is a fun one to practice. So if you do want to put something in your hands and make sure, whatever it is, it's not breakable. This is a really nice exercise, a great warm-up. And then we'll come out of that. So just park one hand up, allow the other hand to come back around and bring it back down towards the ribs. And let's just float the hands down. And then we'll bring our legs a little bit more into play because the arms have had a good old workout today. So let's have the feet together, knees together, legs together, pressing inwards. So giving themselves a little bit of support, pushing the hands up and over the head in prayer, bringing them down the center line of the body, just sinking into the qua region, the bikini line region with a little bend as if you were sitting on a very high stool. And we'll go into some Swimming Dragon just to finish the session today. So warming up into Swimming Dragon with a bit of a hip stretch. We're just going to push the hands one way and the hips and the head go the other. Pushing the hands just out as far as you can. First of all, keeping the fingertips pointing up. So it's interesting as to where we feel this. It's a nice stretch in the hip and the side of the body. Make a note of where you maybe feel any tension in the hand and the wrist as well. I'm really feeling it again in that pericardium channel, ring finger. But it can often show up and stretch out any little issues that we might have in the hands, wrists and fingers. Things from, you know, using mobile phones, computers, that kind of thing. So we've done some stretching, with the fingertips pointing up. It's kind of limiting the hip movement. So let's let the fingertips lead the way. And again, we're just going to come out to the side first of all. So seeing if you can kind of straighten the front arm. Going out to the other side. Keeping the legs nicely pressed together for a bit of support. And just allowing the side of the body to open up. Nice stretching out the shoulder as well. And then for the last few minutes, let's freestyle. So you can take your dragon's head here and just weave it around the body and create whatever shapes you like. What we're going for, those are kind of quite undulating movement, serpentine, dragon-like, our dragon swimming up the river. You can weave the body behind you or from side to side. Get a little bit low down as if you were sitting on a chair. It's a nice one for just working on that kidney energy as well. If we push the hands out to the back, twisting from side to side. This is such a good one if you don't know what to do and you've got time for one exercise. This is such a nice one because you can just move your body in the shape that it wants to be moved. And it is giving it that kind of internal massaging. Try and keep the breathing going though. We are kind of pushing ourselves into some weird and wonderful shapes here, but try and keep your breathing steady. And allow the movement of the upper body and the arms to open up parts of the lungs, allowing that lovely fresh energy in. And to finish off, we'll just weave our way higher and higher, so hands coming up past the face, over the head, and then gradually with the palms pressing gently together, shoulders still drop down, finding your centre, and we'll finish just coming up onto the balls of the feet, and then lowering the hands down, bringing them all the way down towards the lower dantian. Index finger and thumb stays connected, creating this diamond shape over the navel, sinking the knees, taking a nice deep breath into the belly and out. And we will leave it there for today. Thank you for joining me again. I hope you enjoyed that. Do let me know how you get on in the comments. And yeah, I'll be along with another one very soon. Take care. Bye.